Fancy another leg of the bush tour? Won't be able to say that for too much longer, as there are only 3 more airfields to visit now. That'll be the end of this tour, but I'll just do more stuff in the Just Flying video series afterwards instead, so it's not going to make too much difference to my video content, apart from the runways being a bit easier to operate from in New Zealand, as opposed to these little things in South Fiordlands. But we're up. Okay, and so U-turn and let's head for Stillwater Valley. Quite a nice day for it, although I will have to admit to cheating. Yeah, we had ground level clouds and I couldn't see a thing. So it's sort of semi-custom weather, and I say that because all it did was move the cloud level up a bit, so we can see where we're going. Everything else, wind, etc., that's still the same. Yeah, I generally prefer it that way anyway for a pleasure flight, as part of the enjoyment is simply looking out of the window and admiring the view. But for flying around here to the little airstrips in the mountains and valleys, yeah, this is not an IFR kind of area, is it? Certainly not for landing, but even taking off too. I've done it before where I thought, yep, I can get airborne, and then if I do a few orbits in this nice wide valley where there's plenty of room, I can circle upwards until I pop out on top of the clouds and take it from there. I mean, that theory has sometimes worked, but it's also occasionally ended with flaming wreckage on the side of a hill. It's not a plan I'd actually recommend. Yeah, for IFR conditions, I did once toy with the idea of adding a few more fake VOR and NDB beacons around NZ, but obviously I never bothered in the end. Now I am taking a flight or two around Japan as well. That's something I have noticed, where they do seem to have more of those kind of nav aids there. That can be quite useful because I've told you before I don't like glass cockpits and much prefer the steam gauges, mostly because that's what I learnt to fly with. And it's the same with GPS as well, where my instrument flying experience is with VORs and NDBs. So having those to use in Japan is quite nice. Well, certainly meant a lot more of them there than there is in New Zealand. But that's still rare, because if the weather is too bad, I'm still more likely to just move to a different location somewhere else and start a flight there, or tweak the weather as I've done today, so I can see the ground and enjoy what's out of the window. That's quite a nice view, isn't it? Yeah, I'm liking that. Yeah, I suppose it'd be a different matter if I ever went back to big jets again, like I was flying in my FS9 days, but while I'm still in this phase of preferring to fly these smaller aircraft, then yeah, occasionally I'll pretend to be Zeus. Yes, I'm fairly certain Zeus was the god of, was it sky, thunder and lightning, rain, etc. So yeah, he's probably the one, isn't he? And an extra task for him now, as he's king of the Greek gods and also now god of the explain weather settings page. That has made me curious now, saying that out loud. I'm going to have to look that up later if I remember. See if there are other gods who might fit the job description a bit better. Well, okay, granted, the various mythologies from around the world, I doubt I'm going to find a god of wind shear or god of clear air turbulence. But yeah, Zeus, sky, storms, rain. Yeah, it's good, but there probably needs to be a bit more than that in the job title, doesn't there? I'll report back with any findings if I don't get caught up with something else entirely and totally forget about it, which is definitely a possibility. Especially if sausage sandwiches are going to play a part in my future today. Don't know if you're the same, but sometimes I just have a thing about certain foodstuffs, and sausage sandwiches are definitely the thing at the moment. It usually lasts a week, 2 at the most, then whatever it is, it returns to more normal levels of nicety. Sausage sandwiches have always been quite high on that list anyway. And I'm sure something else will then come along as the next big thing in the future. It can be pretty much anything really. Yeah, last month I had 2 or 3 days where I couldn't stop eating boiled eggs. Well, I've had a thing for mangoes. I'm thinking this is the valley. We should have an airport down here. Yeah, there we go. Lovely. We got it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure broccoli will never make it onto the list of things I can't stop eating, but you never know. I just wouldn't put a bet on it. Anyway, landing. This is one of those where you can land the other way just about. If I remember rightly, the way we'll be coming in, there's an uphill section and then a flat bit. So if you come the other way, you've got a flat bit and a downhill section, which is obviously going to make it harder to stop. But it can be done in a plane like this, you can do it. Because I have done it, but certainly this is the easier way in, where we're landing uphill. And there was also a field, which I think are filled full of flowers or something, just before the runway, so you can get down closer to the threshold anyway. This is the way that I designed it to be landed on. The fact that you can actually land the other way, that's a bit of an unexpected bonus. We'll see how we go today. With a tweak of the weather, at least we can see it now. The wind and the turbulence don't seem to be too bad, so fingers crossed this one will go okay. Not doing a great job of actually trying to track the centre line, are we? But apart from that, we're going okay. Field of little pink flowers. Come on then. Down, stay on the runway. Blue. Yeah, that was okay. Alright, yeah. Yeah, this is South Fiordland. We don't do incredibly soft, bottom, greasy kind of landings here. Being the right way up and still having a plane that you can take off with again afterwards, that's near enough. And it didn't seem that bad either, so yeah, I think this one could be okay. Alright, I think we've touched down on all 3 wheels at the same time. tiny excursion from the runway, but yeah, that was fine. Quite happy with that. Yeah, so I'll go and park up here by this guy and call it the end for this one. And I shall start dreading the next leg. Yeah, I'll see you soon.